So we'll talk about some VHF, UHF digital modes, APRS, moon bounce, and meteor scatter. Digital modes have become very popular, particularly FT8. JT65 is another one that a lot of people use. It's kind of based on some of the same weak signal technology, but it uses a multi-tone audio frequency shift keying modulation technique. Very similar to what FT8, FT4 uses. It can decode down to minus 24 dB below the noise level in the passband. And a lot of people use it because of that to try to do moon bounce, which is Earth, Moon, Earth communications. I did see a video a while back of some guy who showed how you could do it. I believe he was using JT65 on 100 watts. Although it did require a low noise amplifier on your antenna. But he actually demonstrated on the YouTube video making some contacts. Of course, it's not easy because you got to coordinate, have somebody set up to listen with the right equipment.
There was a guy video jumped across doing that. And but he was found only stuff was mass.
Like that picture I showed where there's 16 Yagis that are like 15 elements each. And one of the reasons that they do it is because of the time synchronous transmissions. It's kind of like most of the digital modes where it has to be time synchronized. You got to be within a fraction of a second in order for it to properly decode. That's a picture of the JT65 app. It's just one of the WSJTXs. So when you bring it up, you select what mode you want to operate in. So it's, I forgot how many there are. There's like 10 or 12 different modes in WSJTX. Each one has a little bit different type of screen. What type of modulation is used for JT65 contacts? Alpha. What's the characteristic of the JT65 mode? Yeah, I don't know what the bandwidth is. It's probably not 65. Which of the following is a method for establishing Earth, Moon, Earth contacts? FT8 and FT4. When you do an FT8 or FT4 contact, part of the information that's sent is the signal to noise ratio, signal report, along with the grid square and your call sign. And then on the beginning of the message, whether it's a CQ or a DX or a PODA or one of the, you can substitute quite a few different things in that first field. When you're doing a contest, they limit it to just the grid square. Did you notice that when were you in the FT8 contest?
Yeah, it was.
I've never done it in contesting mode, so I assume it makes the message shorter.
It does, and then they would have CW test or CWWW. Yeah, I remember Sure. I didn't move in there, but I think it's getting loose.
Right. What information replaces signal to noise ratio when using the FT8 or FT4 modes in a VHF contest? APRS is getting a lot more popular. I know the NASA Club just put up a digipeater up on top of the VAB.
APRS is getting popular.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
Oh, yeah. It's not new, but more people are putting up digipeaters and actually using it to track things. That's he wants to see. Even some of the balloons use APRS, the bigger ones.
Makes just claim to. I was thinking,
Yeah, I don't know. The book said it's one of the most popular. I don't know that I agree with that.
in fact, then you can drive your car around.
Yeah.
Little APRS.
Still do that. And if you're using D-Star, I'm not sure, DMR probably does it. It updates APRS through DPRS, and it gets sent to the internet, and it shows up on any of those APRS tracking things. And you can see my hotspot if you bring up one of them. It doesn't move, but it's sitting there at the house. When they do transmit, they send unnumbered information packet frames. I guess, I mean, the reason being they're kind of standalone. Normally, when you send information as packets, they have packet numbers so that you can reconstruct them in the right order. If there's only going to be one packet, then you don't necessarily need to know what the number is. And in most cases, I think there's an associated GPS, so you're sending GPS information as part of that APRS packet. Because that's the only way I think if you can track where it is. And there's a lot of boats. If you look at bring up one of those apps for around here, you'll see a lot of boats doing it. I don't know if those are big boats or sailboats, but you'll see them moving around in the water.
But that's an amateur radio. You're talking about like.
Yeah, it's on amateur radio band.
So amateur radio operators are operating
APRS?
APRS posts. Okay.
Well, I won't stand behind the popular.
Oh,
Yeah. And some people that are doing it in their car, you can watch them drive around.
Or that, I remember that.
That's still going on. I know a lot more people are putting up digipeaters. I didn't really understand the whole thing behind that originally. I guess I still don't. But we have one that's up at 500 feet, so you can sit. And like I said, some of the high altitude balloons, probably bigger ones and higher altitude than mine, are using APRS. I'm not sure why the space hobbies people didn't choose APRS unless transmitter weighs more. But you can do it at higher frequency, so you don't have to drag along a 20-meter antenna.
All right.
Although it's like 36 gauge wire, it doesn't weigh much. How do APRS stations relay data? So, the digipeters. What digital protocol is used by APRS? What does the packet path? Was that on the other chart? Y3-1 designate? It's really small. Hey, what? I think it was buried in there. Somewhere. There's 25. No, it's not. Might be one out of. So the answer is Charlie. It means there's 3 hops and 1 to go. What type of packet frame is used to transmit APRS beacon data? A number. What technology is used to track in real time balloons carrying amateur radio transmitters? Because they didn't list whisper, which is what mine does. Meteor scatter. Anybody tried meteor scatter? You know, the theory is with the meteors leave a little ionized cylinder for a while that you can bounce signals off of, not very reliably and for not more than a couple minutes at most. The MSK-144, which is another one of the WSJTX modes, was developed specifically to do that, okay, on the 2 meter band. I think it's supposed to work on 10 meters and 2 meters, I guess the ones in between.
So people that do this, they go, but I guess they plan it around.
Yeah, you kind of have to know. I'm going to ask. I would assume that you'd really only do it when you were having a meteor shower. I mean, you could go out at night and wait for, maybe I'll see one, but.
I mean, there's a lot of them. A lot of times it's just so bright you can't see it. I'm curious though, is it just you get that ionization? I guess
Yeah.
It's not like it'll disperse.
My understanding is only up to a couple minutes.
But there's enough, hopefully, that it'll be.
Yeah, I guess if you had a storm, I mean, you'd be bouncing all over. But one of the problems is it's kind of like the sporadic E. It's basically a sporadic refraction, reflection, whatever you want to call it. And it's moving.
That doesn't seem like a dedicated line.
If you're going to spend that kind of money, why not do moon bounce once?
At least the moon's off. Your shit. It's like,
yeah, you don't have to worry about Doppler.
but sure.
Well, probably a little, but not enough to make it right. So in order to do it, they say you're supposed to come up with these coordinate and have 15-second sequences with the other station, you alternating back and forth. And that sounds like FT8, actually.
Sounds.
Well, it's part of the same stuff. And, you know, since you don't have much time, you've got to have very short, you don't keep sending out your call sign and all that kind of stuff. This is what the app looks like when you open it up. You see some different things associated with it, but Some of the stuff looks similar. You have a screen over here showing all the different times and the contacts. Very similar to what you see in FT8 and FT4. The other stuff is different. Which of the following digital modes is designed for meteor scatter communications?
It starts with MS, meteor scatter.
Gee, not Hellschreiber? That's a real thing, but I don't know what it is. Where were we? I didn't do that on purpose. Were we at the end?
I think that was the last one.
Why, it was. All right. One more to go.